God bless everyone out there in Radio Land. This is Barry and Karen coming to you live from Twitch.tv. Grace and Marriage Ministries, our Dare to Be Different live podcast. We thank God for each and every one of you joining us today. And we thank God for the opportunity to be able to come to you with another podcast. Nothing special, just kind of just talking. Whatever. We just because like I say, we didn't really have anything prepared. I know that sounds so unprofessional. But that's kind of our AMO. A lot of times we don't sit down and have prepared lessons or things that we just sit down and think about talking about.
Write notes and all that.
Yeah.
No, it's very, maybe a few cases.
Yeah.
But a lot of things just been how we just overcame throughout. We share our testimony how we overcame.
Mm-hmm. Well, the words does say that you overcome by the word of your testimony. They overcame him, the devil, by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of the testimony. So every time we testify, we give the devil a black eye.
Right.
So that's something to tweet. Every time you testify, you give the devil a black eye.
Yeah.
So that's what we do every time we tell the truth about what God has done for us and through us. We just throw another dart toward the enemy's direction to let him know that he has no authority.
That's right. Yeah, but we have overcome.
Yeah. Where we came, I guess we can tell you basically what we plan on doing.
Yeah.
We did plan on actually doing a lesson on marriage on next week. We haven't picked out which exactly book we're going to do. We're going to do it out of a book. Just hadn't picked one yet. We're going to try to do something that's going to be kind of brief. Not something that's stressed out for weeks and on end and whatnot, because we do a lot of this particular podcast and we don't do a lot on the other one, so we decided to go ahead and put some content up there for you married folk, and for those that desire to be married, to kind of tell you about that kind of relationship that a lot of people, some desire, some avoid, and so we're gonna deal with what we're gonna pick a book that we can do briefly and for that week, and then we're gonna go from that. But the schedule stands. I'm gonna change the schedule up on the Twitch page, because the Twitch page schedule is basically set for us being on the air every night at 8, I think 7 o'clock Central Standard Time.
Okay, I thought it was between the hours of 7 and 8.
No, I had to have a.
Oh, okay.
I had to have a time, so I did it 7. So because we was doing at 7. So, but what I'm gonna do the schedule that we do, which is the we'll do it Monday. We're trying to target for 8, which is a pretty decent time. A lot of people are coming on usually about this time in the evening because everybody's settling down there, getting out of church, some of them, and so we kind of get that group that's coming out of work and kind of settling. They decide they want to get on there and see who's on. So but on those days, only 2 days are actually game stream. Depends, unless I change it. Like this weekend, because I have to do it around our work schedule. So this weekend, this Saturday coming, we'll be doing a morning stream Usually my 9 to 1 morning stream. Usually do that on Saturday. Then we get out on Sunday. I'll do another one that morning. Hopefully not. I don't know. It depends. And but for sure, 2 days out of that we'll do it that morning. But then on Monday, of course, Monday is actually a legitimate streaming day. It's the day when I'm actually off. I'm actually off Sundays and Mondays. So those 2 days I use for the streaming, the game streaming. So that starts at 9 in the morning. So I do that from 9 to about 1:30 to 1:45, something like that, on Mondays and Tuesdays. And then Mondays, and then from Tuesday through Friday, or no, we take one day out of it. We take Saturday off, but Tuesday, Friday we'll do our 8 p.m. to whenever. We do usually try to do at least 45 minutes, an hour, or something like that, a podcast. So we try to do a target between the times of 7 and 8, but we have to kind of just give you a target date. So I have to do it like that. But mostly times we start earlier. Sometimes we start a little late, like we did tonight. And that was only reason because I'm fiddling around with something new. So, and that was the wrong time to do it. But always trying to find new ways to enhance our stream, to try to make sure that everything is working properly. And so I guess we'll like I say, we'll tweet that. You can go on our Twitter page at Embrace Craig, and we'll give you all the information. We'll pass it along to you. Also, we'll put it on the website, which is embracingmarriagetogether.wordpress.com. That's where we actually have all our information. A lot of announcements go there. Matter of fact, we just did a new announcement not too long ago about us being on Spotify. We actually got on there a few months ago, and right now I think we're about, they only do so many podcasts because we have like almost 70 of them. I think we're about 63 of them or something like that, 64. So we did 64 episodes straight. So we right now, they only do them like 10, 12 at a time. So what they'll do is that as one comes on, they'll pop one off. So they kind of replace it. So they don't have that many on at a time. So if you want to see episodes farther than what they put on, because I think they only do up to June or something. So if you only want to get past that, you have to actually click on the link that's on our website for our podcast. You click on that and it'll take you straight to the actual place where the podcast is, and you can go and listen to them if you want to hear messages earlier than that. Also, it's on YouTube as well. Whenever Nightbot wake up, we'll you'll see those things. But I can probably put those in right now to give you an idea. We have a Discord also that you can go to. We do Discord first. We have a Discord. If you have any questions, prayer requests, you have a praise report, you can go and join us there on Discord. That's our Discord invite link. You can go there and you can join us on link. We do check it every day to make sure that people are sending prayer requests so that we can be able to reach them. You click on that link. Click on that link and it'll take you straight there. Also, we have like I said, we have a YouTube page. And if you are watching this on YouTube, like, share, and subscribe. Subscribe to the YouTube page. We don't have too many subscribers because we utilize our audio more than our video. So we don't have a lot of people we announce it so people want to see us. We keep a copy of this live podcast that we do and we upload it to our YouTube. So a lot of times people that don't see it, you see it on YouTube, but they'll see the past episodes of this after we get through. A lot of times it'd be jacked up, so you better go to YouTube. Recommend you go to the YouTube because sometimes, like last time, we had we had split in half, Yeah, like we did like an hour and 15 minutes, and they split it in half. I think we did like 21 minutes this time, and then 20 because we had a drop, so we had 21 minutes on one end and 52 minutes on the other. So it was crazy. So, but it did play through kind of like it didn't seem like it had any break in between. But if you want to see a whole straight through and see everything that we talked about, then it's on the video on YouTube. What was the other? And I said, oh, God can't forget the most important thing. If you want to know more about us and about what we are, where we are at, oh, I hit twice. The command. That. If you want to know everything where we at, that's the one you go to. EmbraceAMarriageTogether.wordpress.com. Wife used to point down there because I used to have it on the name. So you go there
It's
and you can check. Yeah, it's over there. Yeah, well, no, that way. No, that way. Yeah, it's like this way on my side. You're right, my left. Yeah, because you wonder when it's on the thing where you see it coming up. So I'm pointing over there. That's where it's at too. So like I said, we really had a whole lot to talk about. We do have a goal. We had this, as you can see, we do have a follower goal. We did reach. We was 2 away from our goal last month. We had like 8 followers last month. We thank those followers for following us. That puts us up to about half of where we need to be, but we hoping to have more people follow us. The actual podcast, the game streaming that I do for Warframe, which is what I'm streaming now, it's been getting a lot of traffic and getting a lot of followers. So I've been getting people from that. Let's see what else we can tell them. Hopefully once I'm working on a game cacher now, if someone want to donate me one, I'll be appreciative. But if we're trying to get a game cacher, because what I want to do is some gaming with her, and so it'll be gaming with Karen, and there'll be all the time gaming with the wife that you'll see on the thing, gaming with the wife, and we'll do games together. And we'll be able to record it because a lot of them we do on Switch. She got a lot of games on Switch she likes. And then we got some Xbox. I got one game we played together. It's a pretty neat little game.
Yeah.
We played that.
Yeah, I'm trying to get the hang of it.
Yeah, she's trying to get the hang of it. Yeah, it's one of them kind of things where you have to know how to turn around and shoot. And it's really, and once you get the hang of it, I mean, it's easy to play because you have to clear a level, and it's 2 of you. And so yeah, I think it goes up to about 4 players, but at least it's 2 of us.
Yeah.
And so it was a pretty fun little game. But like I say, more so. But what we did talk about, our testimony, what we had come out of as far as my depression situation that the enemy tried to place in my life and make me stop and make her stop, and one of the things that we did talk about is talking about not quitting. And I realized too, because we had an incident that happened, because like I said, I work for security at our hospital. Well, we work the same job. And I had a situation where I realized that what I went through was to help that person, because they had a situation where they was kind of the same way as I was, and they were like that right then, and they came in kind of volatile, and the poor nurse was scared of it. It was a lady, older lady, well, not that old, she was maybe like 3 years older than me. And she was upset, really upset. So when they called for me, they called for us to come up there, and I was the only one available because the rest of one guy was on another call and the other one was out in the field, just outside, so he couldn't come in. So I put our calls, and I went to upstairs. Well, when I got up there, they gave me the rundown of who was going on with her and this and that. Told me they didn't tell me her name because I had to ask that. So I'm sitting there like, I'm like, oh man, I really don't want it, because what they were wanting, they wanted to medicate the woman, but she wouldn't let them, because the simple fact is that she was, because she was, upset and violent. She wanted to go home. My son was concerned about it. He was crying and whatnot, and she was all upset so she was wanting to leave, take care of kids, which I get that, but she couldn't do it in that shape. So when I got there, she was undressed because she was getting out of that room, getting her clothes to go. So she wasn't clothed at all. So there was 3 nurses in there. I mean, those 3 nurses couldn't calm her down. And the little nurse that was with her, she was kind of afraid of her. And so I'm standing there and I asked her, well, what do you want me to do? Well, we might need somebody to help hold her down and stuff. Oh God, I'm not in the business of wrestling nobody today. I said that wasn't gonna work. I said, no, we gotta come up with a better plan than this, because wrestling a 50-year-old woman was not my plan today. Especially one that was strong like I heard she was. And I ain't going home getting hit and broken glasses and stupid stuff like that. I said, forget that. So I thought about it for a moment, and I heard the Spirit of God speak to me and say, just talk to her. He said, go in there and talk to her and tell her your story, just like that. And so I said, okay. So I told him, I said, tell her to put something on her, and I'll go in there and talk to her. And so they went in there and convinced her to cover up. She covered up. Thank God. That would have been an awkward conversation, talk to her like that. So I went in there, and she was kind of fidgeting, and she was kind of, you can tell she was real anxious. And so I asked her what was going on, and she told she wanted to leave, and then she told me other stuff, and I asked her a couple other questions. Some said, don't. I said to myself, no. So I'm not going to ask her the question. A lot of times when people are agitated, because we had to have to go to a class for de-escalation training, and I found that sometimes asking all these questions it's not the best way to kind of get to them, because unless you ask the right question, they don't want questions, they want answers. They want to know an answer to their question. That's what they want. They don't care about you asking them questions because they feel like you interrogating them, like they did something wrong.
Yeah.
And when I came in there, I didn't want to come in there like she did something wrong. I was coming in and concerned because, of course, she's a patient, and I was wanting to know what was going on with her. And so I asked her what happened. I asked her what was going on when she told me a little bit. She didn't say much. And so she had a sitter in there, and that's what they get hired to do, sit. She was sitting she witnessed the whole event, so I was sitting there with her. So I closed the door and everything, and because I didn't want them all my business. So next thing I knew, and I usually when I deal with people, I kind of get on their level and kind of just be straight with them. I'm usually the diplomat. Out of the group, I'm the diplomat, because we got one. They got a couple of them. They real more just like, they ain't got the patience to deal with you, and a lot of them they will talk to you and they'll listen to you, but they still make up their mind that they're gonna do whatever they're gonna do. They're not gonna listen to your side. And so we because they vary in patient levels, and some of them don't have it and some of them have more of it. So I'm kind of in between. I mean, I can deal with you as long as I can deal with you, but after a while I have to do my job, and I just have to. You get too disruptive or you get too out of order, then we have to deal with you. But if I can deal with you and get you to calm down enough where you can remain, because I don't like throwing people out. And a lot of people, as I told one time, had to do that with somebody. I said, that's a part of my job I do not like. I don't like to just toss people out. But if they causing disruption, my job and responsibility is to protect those people and the property. So I can't just let you destroy property or try to hurt anyone. You got to go. So anyway, I sat down. I actually got a chair and I sat in front of her because she was like on her bed. And I sat in front of her. I was like two feet away from her. And at least about 2-3 feet away from her. By as far as I am from the camera. I was how far I was from her. And I took my glasses off and I looked at her and I told her, I said, let me tell you something. I said, I've been where you at right now. I said, I just come out of a place where I had lost my mind. I couldn't think straight. I was out of it. I said, and I told her about how that I had just come out of being in a place, in a mental hospital. And I know how it is to be, like that. I said, but let me tell you something, darling. I said, you can't help your kids like that. I said, these people are really trying to help you. And I don't know if it was just me talking to her that way, because I didn't talk loud. I didn't say anything stern. I was really just kind of appealing to her. And I guess because the anointing of God must have came on me, because I almost started to cry, because she started crying. She did. I guess she felt the presence of God, because she was way up here, and then all of a sudden she just calmed straight down. And I asked her name, and I told her, I said, Miss, I say, look, I say, you got to get better for your kids. You can't take care of your kids like that. And then on top of that, these people really are trying to help you. I tell you what, give me a day. So give me one day. I said, and let these people help you so you can get better to help your kids, okay? And I said, and I told them, and I said, I had to get better so I can help my wife and my kids. I said, I was no good to either of them like that. And you're not any good for them either. And I said, look, give me a day. And if they don't do what they're supposed to do, you talk to the doctor and you see about going home. I said, can you give me a day? She said, yeah. She said, yes. I said, okay. I said, can you let them go ahead and give you something so you relax? She said, yes. Okay. So it was funny. The funny thing about it was not so much that she did that. It was amazing that she did that, because this woman, when she came in, they say they had to literally wrestle her and drug her because she was violent, because she had went through something traumatic, and she was just So when she went through that, and people don't understand what people go through, because they already, and we was talking about that. I say a lot of times when people are going through struggles, we prejudge them based on past history, or we just take a little bit of information, prejudge them. That's what prejudice is, prejudging someone based on the little information that you know about them. And say, hey, they must be on drugs, or they on crack, or they on meth, or they might have thought this woman was on drugs, but we heard the woman went through worse. That's enough to send anybody into a frenzy, what she went through. I can't share with you because it's HIPAA. But what I can tell you is that she calmed down. And I don't know if it was just me being the way I was talking, because I didn't talk condescending to her. And a lot of them, they don't really, and we went through the same training as they did. We all did. But they have never used it. I know, because they always calling us. So, if they would have just used it once, I guarantee you they could have calmed her down. There was 3 of them in there. Now one of them could calm down. And a lot of people, especially when they're like that, they can sense if you're scared of them. That's all they're gonna do is embolden them. That's all. And she knew they were scared of her. So what they did, they made her really just act up worse, because they knew she knew they were scared of her. And so I walked in there and I didn't show any fear. And then I showed concern, and I showed that I related to her. See, that's one thing about Jesus. Let's bring it to Jesus, because that's what we're talking about. That's what we talk about on this channel. The Bible said that Jesus came in like form as we are, yet without sin. He came to relate to us. See, one thing about God did not understand pain. He does not then. He does now. But before that, he didn't understand pain. He didn't understand betrayal. Well, he understood that because Israel, but he didn't understand physical pain. He didn't understand how it was to be hungry, or how it was to not to sleep, or to have, you know, people get on his nerves, and you know, he get hit and he feel physical harm. He didn't never have that because he didn't understand that. He didn't understand how it felt to be depressed or to be, believe it or not, what Jesus experienced before he went to the cross that week was depression. If you look at it, he called him. He say that his heart, talking about his heart sorrow. He say he was heavy. Yeah, he was depressed. You know why? Because he was going to die, and he knew he was. But what motivated him to do it was God's will for his life.
That's it.
The Father's will. He knew that no other way. He had to do it regardless, because that's what Father wanted. Father wanted him to give his life so that we could be here today telling you about someone that came to relate to us. So it's talking about Hebrews, we have not a high priest, we cannot be touched with feeling our infirmities, but it all points tempted like we are, yet without sin. So he was in a physical body, related to us, so that he could be able to redeem us. The only way a person can be in the Bible, the only way a person can be redeemed, it had to be redeemed by someone that was a relative. A male relative, had to be an uncle or brother or a cousin or father, somebody that was a male. They call them kinsman redeemers. They had to be related to them to redeem them. So they call Jesus our kinsman redeemer. He came in to be like us in order to redeem us, because spirit couldn't redeem flesh. Only flesh can redeem flesh. And only he related to us by becoming like us in order to be our redeemers.
Right.
So my relation to this woman was our situation, mentally, where we were mentally. I understood at that moment. I had never been through that. My wife would tell you, we've been married 20 years. I ain't never been like that. But the thing is, at that moment, I knew, because I came out of it, because a lot of people still in it.
Right.
Of course, I ain't gonna tell you I never still fight with it, but the fact is it never got that bad. But what happened, I had to go through that moment so that this moment could take place.
Yeah.
Because what ended up happening, she calmed down. And here's the funny part. The funny part I was telling you. I didn't know what happened, because I was talking to her. I was in the moment. So when I came and I put my glasses on, I turned around and walked out there and said, well, I'm going to try to come check on you, which tomorrow I got to go. I promise I'll check on her, go see if she's still there. So I said, I'm going to try to come check on you. I did try, because we get busy. So I left her and say, so I'll tell them that you're okay. So I turn around, walk, and open the door, and they're just standing there looking like, big eyed. It was the funniest scene, because it was all like lined up, everybody, that was like it was a doctor out there, and it was like nurses, everyone. It was all looking like, what's going on, baby? What we gonna do? Because they was ready, honestly. They called us up there ready, honestly. They was trying to get me to actually physically restrain her, so they could give her medication, and they were expecting me to come out and say that she's not going to comply, and that y'all going to have to throw her out. That's what they was waiting on. The only thing I said when I walked out is say, she all right, go ahead and give her the medicine. Just like that. They were like, I was like, come on. Then the nurse was still so scared. She wanted me to be in there like the woman was going to still hit her. She had promised me that she wasn't going to do nothing, and she didn't. She kept her word. I say, and she said, she said, woman, I ain't gonna do you nothing, just like that. It was funny. Bless her heart. I knew she was scared, because, hey, you don't want to come to work. The last thing you want to do is come to work, taking care of patients, when your patients punch you, because they had a lot of cases of that happening lately. So they was really kind of gunshot, because they was really kind of scared of being hit, because they had patients that were really violent. They would just hit. Yeah, this guy, he hit 5 nurses before he left there. So, and yeah, he kicked one dude. We end up, he kicked one dude, and then he ended up getting on the floor and hit 5 more nurses. So, you got bad when you go in there. And it was all in that place. So I don't blame him. Mm-hmm. But the thing is that you don't want to come to work and deal with that.
No.
So I don't blame her. So what ended up happening, she let her give him the meds, and whatever she gave her was pretty strong because she backed up into the bed, covered herself up, and they put the IV back on her, and it burned her. So she was kind of crying from that. And I said, well, yeah. I say, yeah, it's gonna burn, but once they put that thing in, you'll be okay. But they probably had to change IV because once they do that, you have to change it.
Yeah.
So, at any rate, the amazing part about it is how that she was way up here in anxiety level. And the Holy Spirit, I know it had to be the Holy Ghost because it wasn't me. Because he told me to do just that. He said, get that chair. Yeah. I was doing it just what he told me. He said, get that chair, sit in front of her and tell her this.
Yeah.
Tell her your story. Tell her so she can understand, that she can know that somebody understands how she feels. Because they weren't listening to her. She just wanted somebody to understand. And a lot of times that's what when you're going through.
Yeah.
When I was going through what I want going through, I'm thankful that my wife wasn't understanding. She knew, because she been down that road. Well, not with me, but she been down the road. She knew how it was to deal with somebody under that kind of mindset.
Yeah.
Myself, I lived with a mentally disabled person. My brother, he's next to me, is mentally disabled. I lived with him most of my childhood, up to my adult life. And so I understood it too, but I couldn't fathom myself being like that.
Yeah.
And so and God prepared her a long time ago for this moment. And God prepared me that day, that week, for this moment. God prepares you for moments.
Yes, he do.
He don't prepare you so he said it so you can be impressive. He prepares you so somebody else can be blessed. You're blessed to be a blessing. So when he blesses you, he doesn't bless you for you. He blesses you for somebody else.
Right.
So when he brings you out, he didn't bring you out so that you can just you stick your chest out and say, yeah, Lord brought me out. But he brought you out so you can bring out somebody else. I learned that concept. I don't know, a lot of y'all probably in the Christian world probably know about this. R.W. Shambach. R.W. Shambach. Ministered a message one time about how that when God heals you, he heals you so you can heal other people. And that's what this concept I'm talking about came from. So I relate to everything now.
Right.
But in that particular case, he made it related to healing. I was young and dumb. I'm just going to say that. I was young and dumb. Coming into the faith, didn't understand my calling. I had just gotten to preaching and stuff, and I still wasn't really delivered. But I was trying to be, I was still young. I mean, I was like 21, so I really didn't understand what I got into, and I was like, whatever. Yeah. So I was hanging out with my my previous, with my late niece's husband. They used to hang out. We used to hang out at his house, and his first wife, and they had us all over there. Well, when I was hanging out, thank God for the host, Nicola Nunez. Thank God for the host. Nunez is one of our newest followers. As a matter of fact, he followed me coming on to when I was on Warframe. So God bless you, man. Appreciate you. So what happened? They froze a block of ice. I don't know what made me think I could do this, but I hit a block of ice thinking I was going, like I was Bruce Lee or something, like I was going to bust it. I hit it and cracked it, but I also fractured my knuckle. But I didn't realize it until I hit it. You hit this and you don't feel it because you got that adrenaline, and I don't feel it. But later on, we had to go on a trip, my mom, because my friend of hers was sick. So we got the news, and so we had to get ready at night. I could barely pick up a comb to comb my hair. My hand hurt so bad. I couldn't even use my hand. I had fractured it and didn't even realize. I had fractured my knuckle. So I put it in a brace because I couldn't use his hand. Mama, I never told my mom. And we was on our way to the town where we used to live in Louisiana, called Cheneyville. Cheneyville is like 4 miles outside of Bunker, Louisiana, which is 8 miles away from Alexandria, in the middle of the state. So we went there, and that's where she lived. And we went there, and whenever time I go, they had to find me because I get lost. Because I go all my people, and I go around visit everybody. And that's what I did with my wife. I took my wife. I just did the same thing. When everybody else still was there. And one particular person I would always go see is my spiritual mentor, which is Bishop Carl Douglas Cook. He's on Facebook. Check him out. So he was the guy that mentored me when I was coming into faith, when I was about 16, 17 years old. And he mentored me for like 3 years, up to about the time I left. I got there, met him when I was 15. And he mentored me till I left there about 17. So I was been about 3 years. So 2 or 3 years. So I hung around him, and a lot of my mannerisms, a lot of the way that they deal with me, and I don't preach like him. Sometimes I do. It depends on what I preach. When I get to preach my holiness real heavy, yeah, that's him. So what happened, I met him, and I told him, he saw my hand in the brace. He said, Brother Craig. He said, what? He had a name he called me, but he called me. But he said, Brother Bear, what happened to your hand? I told him. Stupid, compared to ice like I was Bruce Lee or something. He said, okay. And so I would say, actually pray for me. So he prayed for me. And before I left, because we went to a hospital, I kept it in a brace. So before I left to come home, God had healed me, completely healed my hand.
Wow.
Well, I heard that message that night before about when God heals you, He heals you for someone else.
Right.
So what ended up happening, I was invited to minister at my late stepbrother's pastor's anniversary. It was during the week. It was they did like 3 days during the week. So I was one of the speakers. I went. Well, how it happened, my pastor was invited to preach. He threw his shoulder out preaching. Yeah, we used to do some rough preaching back in the day. He throw his shoulders out, backs, and all. Yeah, he preached too hard, threw his shoulder out. He was in pain. So and it was just God. So he was like, he said, Doc, he said, I want you to go in my space. I already told him, you gonna go and preach in my place. Because I had to throw my shoulder out. So okay, I'll do my best, God gonna have to be with me. I was ready. I always stay ready. So every time my spiritual father now come tell me, he says, son, you ready? I say, yeah, man. He always have one. I always have one in the pocket now. I'm ready to preach anywhere. So what ended up happening, I went and I ministered on a word. And then afterwards, I was praying for people with nobody. It was a, pretty much traditional Baptist church. They weren't finna get up and pray for prayer. So I prayed for them as a group. Well, they had a pastor that was visiting there who was kind of a non-denominational kind of pastor. And he would say, well, you know what? He's in prayer for everybody, but I really need prayer. I said, I want Brother Craig. I want Evangelist Craig. Call me Evangelist Craig. Evangelist Craig to pray for me. So I said, okay. He had pinched a nerve in his shoulder, and he couldn't feel his feeling in his his thumb and his finger. See, it pinched a nerve. He wanted prayer for that. And I knew about it in the office. He had talked about it with the pastor, with my stepbrother, and with another pastor that was there with us. And so the Lord said, he's gonna get healed tonight, but I don't want you to do it now. Wait, I'll tell you when. So when he got up, he said, that's when now it's time. So we laid hands on him, and he couldn't raise his arm about that high. So when we prayed for him, God healed him, totally healed him, because I told him that testimony that God heals us so we can heal somebody else. So I laid hands on him and prayed in the name of Jesus. God healed his shoulder. So I had him to move it, and he moved his shoulder, and God bless him. He moved it, and he was good. He been good ever since. I hadn't seen him in a while, but I know God had healed him because he couldn't move his shoulder higher, his arm this high, but he raised it all the way up, and he was just praising God, crying. So they was rejoicing. So yeah, after that, everybody wanted prayer. So I take one sign, and
Yes,
now
sir.
everybody's getting interested after that.
Oh yeah, you got a long prayer line.
Yeah, well, I prayed for. Actually, he was the only one I actually prayed for, and but they rejoiced in it, and it was
Yeah.
just awesome. It was awesome what God did. But I learned a lesson that day. That what we go through, a lot of times is not for us; it's for someone else.
That's it.
So whatever you might be going through right now, whether it's in your personal life, whether it's in your marriage, whether it's in your home, in your finances, whether it's in just any area of your life, or your job, whatever you're going through right now, I guarantee you it's not because God is allowing this to happen so that he's got someone else in mind. There is someone that he's going to bring in your path that you're going to be able to be a blessing to,
Right.
that you'll be able to help get
That's
through
it.
their situation like God got you through yours.
Right.
That's why I was talking about the scripture when we started all this, was the scripture talking about how that God comfort us in our tribulations so that we be able to comfort those that are in any trouble with the comfort by which we were comforted of God. So in any trouble, he means, in any tribulation, whatever you might be going through, God is there to comfort you by using us that have been through it already.
Right.
So if you're going through something right now, don't look at it as an indictment against you. Look at it as a testimony for you,
That's it.
so that God can do great things with you, and he can do great things through you. So we thank God. We thank God for you listening to us. Like I say, we're trying to, even though my wife don't have to go to work in the morning, I'm fighting sleep is what I'm doing. Now, I was doing good. Like you say, we was doing good before we ate. We need to start. But I did want to share that with y'all, and then let y'all know what we're going to do as far as our next week's lesson. We're going to pick one, and when we do pick it, I'm gonna go ahead and announce it on tomorrow what we're gonna do, and we're gonna go ahead and put it up and let everybody be aware of it. Want to do something that can relate to everybody, so it won't just be just for marriage, but it'll be something that everybody can, like we did with the forgiveness thing that time. It was a marriage list, but we actually only did one. I think that was the only one we did, didn't we? Yeah, we only did that one. And so, you got anything to say before we go, baby? Just something? You ain't got any testimonies, any kind of
No.
anything? She ain't got nothing. She hungry. Well, she full. She done ate and got full, and now she see them eyes how they tight.
They like that's my normal.
That's her normal eyes. Her eyes are not big like mine. Mine, her eyes are always like this. So
That's my normal.
that's her normal eye. The only time her eyes get like this is when she upset. It's the only way I know she upset, and my eyes get big. But yeah, that's her normal look. But she just looks like that. And then we, like I say, it's like 8 in the evening, 9 almost now. And so we want to make sure that we get some content up. We don't want to not have anything going.
Right.
But like I said, if you're looking at this on YouTube, like, share, subscribe. Check us out on our website, which is in the link in the chat. EmbracingMarriageTogether.wordpress.com. Thank you for the hosts, Nuclear Nunez. We thank God for all the followers that came on last month. We are looking for 10 followers to come on the month. Follow us on Twitch. Also on Twitter at Embrace Craig. Go there and check us out. And like I said, if you have a testimony, if you have a prayer request, or you just have questions about things, whatever they might be, go to that link in the chat with our Discord, and you can share it with there. Also, too, you can download this off of Spotify. Well, I don't know if you download on Spotify, but you can download this off of from our website. We have a link that'll take you to this podcast, and you can listen to it on Spotify and Stitcher. All those banners are below us on the channel, so you can click on any of those, and it'll take you to any of that stuff that we're at. Every place where we are that the website didn't show. But we thank God, and we're gonna get on out the way.
Yes, and remember, don't give up and don't lose hope, and keep hope alive.
Amen. God bless y'all. We'll see y'all on the next time.